I never meant to spend Christmas alone that year. My family lived 3 states away, and I kept telling myself I'd make the drive as soon as the weather cleared. The forecasts had said light snow, but by the morning of the 23rd, the highway looked like an endless white wall. Every mile I drove, the world got quieter. By mid-afternoon, my hands were stiff from gripping the wheel. I couldn't feel my fingers anymore, and the wipers were fighting a losing battle against the ice. The GPS froze. The screen stuck on a blinking arrow in the middle of nowhere. When the last gaslight I'd passed disappeared in the rear view, I realized I hadn't seen another car in almost an hour. Then, through the snow, I caught sight of a small green sign, BROOKVALE, 2 miles. I'd never heard of it before, but I didn't care. I just needed to stop before I slid off the road. The town wasn't really a town. A few buildings, most dark, roofs sagging under snow. But near the edge of the main road, there was one place still lit, a narrow motel, half buried in white, with a glowing vacancy sign flickering in red. Inside, the lobby smelled like burnt coffee and wet carpet. The man behind the counter looked like he hadn't spoken to anyone all day. His face was grey, his voice low. He said the power might go out if the wind picked up, then slid me a key without asking for ID. The hallway was narrow, the carpet spongy and damp. I passed 2 empty rooms before finding mine at the end. The heater hummed weakly when I turned it on, just enough to fog the window. I sat on the edge of the bed, boots still on, listening to the wind hit the siding. At first it sounded normal, that low, constant moan of a storm moving through the hills. But after a while, it started coming in short bursts. The lights flickered twice and steadied. I tried the TV, but it only gave static. The clock on the nightstand kept ticking, but too slow, like it was running down. By midnight, I was too wired to sleep. I got up, opened the curtain, and looked outside. The snow had buried my car almost to the windows. The parking lot lights barely reached the tree line. But through the dark, deeper in the woods, something was glowing. A faint, bluish light, low to the ground. It wasn't moving. It just sat there, steady as a candle flame in still air. My stomach dropped. I told myself it was a reflection from a sign, maybe a snowplow light bouncing off the trees. But the highway was miles back, and this was deeper in the woods. I stood there watching it until my eyes watered. When I blinked, it looked closer. I stepped away from the window fast, my pulse thudding in my throat. I locked the door again, even though I already had. I pushed the chair under the handle and tried to laugh at myself. "You're tired? It's just the storm," I said out loud. But it didn't sound right in the quiet. When I looked again, the light was gone. I left the lamp on when I finally crawled into bed. I don't remember falling asleep, just waking up to the sound of snow sliding off the roof. The room was colder than before, and the power was out. My breath came out white in the dark. That's when I heard the first knock. 3 soft taps on the door. Not loud, not frantic, just patient. I froze. My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my neck. I waited, hoping I'd imagined it, but then it came again. Slower this time. I forced myself to get up, bare feet on the freezing floor, and looked through the peephole. Nothing, just snow and orange light from the parking lot. I pulled the curtain back an inch. The snow outside the door was smooth, untouched. No footprints. Nothing disturbed. My stomach dropped so fast I felt dizzy. I turned off the lamp, crawled back into bed, and pulled the covers up, eyes on the crack under the door. For hours, I didn't move. I must have fallen asleep again, because the next thing I knew, light was coming through the window. Morning. The power was still out, but the room was filled with that blinding white glare you only get after a storm. I got dressed without showering, stuffed my things in my bag, and went to check out. The lobby was empty. No one behind the counter. No voices. No sound. The chair was pushed neatly in. Outside, everything was still. Too still. No traffic. No wind. No sign of the man from the night before. Just a clean, untouched layer of snow covering everything. I left the key on the counter and started my car. The engine turned over easily. Too easily for how cold it was. It wasn't until I hit the highway again that I started to breathe normally. A few miles later, I found a diner. The waitress poured coffee before I even asked. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she said. I told her I'd stayed in Brookvale overnight to wait out the storm. Her hand froze on the coffee pot. "Brookvale?" she asked. "There hasn't been anything open there for years. You sure you didn't mean Brookside?" "No," I said. "It was Brookvale, motel, right by the main road." She didn't say anything for a moment, then quietly said, "That place burned down. Christmas Eve, maybe 15 years ago. Electrical fire." I wanted to laugh, but something in her tone stopped me. "No," I said. "I was there last night. It's still standing." She shook her head slowly. "Not anymore." I left money on the table and stepped outside. The air smelled clean, cold, real, but there was something else under it, faint, like smoke. When I reached for my jacket pocket, my fingers brushed against something hard. I pulled it out. It was the motel key, the same one I'd left on the counter. The tag was melted around the edges, the number barely readable. I stood there, staring at it, until my hands started shaking again. That's when I realized something else. When I'd left that morning, there were no tracks behind my car. Not in the lot, not on the road. No tire marks at all. I've thought about it every Christmas since. The sound of those 3 soft knocks, the light in the trees, the smell of smoke that never fades. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was shock. But every winter when the snow comes down hard and everything goes quiet, my stomach still drops the same way it did that night. Because deep down, I know I didn't dream it. I was there. And something was there with me. Thanks for watching No Sleep Tonight. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow and keep these horrors coming. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, sleep well.